solar panels on our and to participate in the program as residents of Kansas City, but also in the work we're doing on the council to further the move towards solar energy in moving the city towards more clean energy. So I'm anxious to hear, you know, the more about the program and to support the work that you all are doing, but also to reap the benefits as a resident of Kansas City. So thank you. And I will stop talking so we can get to the most important part of the program.
Well, thanks so much. Before we get started, I just want to make sure, you know, I'm not underdressed. I do have my Solarize Kansas City t-shirt on. And if anybody wants one of those, you're welcome to, you know, let us know. Put your information in the chat, and we'll go ahead and see if we can't get you one of these shirts. So, okay, so I'm going to share my screen, and let me hit the F5 button. Hopefully that will get us to our presentation mode. Just 1 second. Okay. So again, my name is Don Moreland. I own a company called Solar Crowdsource, and we were fortunate enough to have the opportunity to work with the city of Kansas City and a whole host of terrific nonprofit organizations that are all part of this campaign. I can't say enough about how involved all these organizations are in bringing you guys really what I think is the best deal in solar energy and energy storage technologies that you're going to see, you know, for hopefully quite a while. There's too many to name here. I probably won't go through. I'm not going to name all of them, but suffice it to say, we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for all these great organizations. And when I say be here, I mean we have almost 400 people signed up for this campaign so far, and about maybe 15% of those are in Kansas, and the other 85 are in Missouri, and we are starting to really ramp up with the amount of folks who have already signed a contract and have decided to go solar through this program. And the essence of this program is, or one of the things about this program is that it's a bulk purchasing campaign. So the more people that we can get, you know, offer this program and decide to go solar together in the period of time that this is offered, the cheaper we can get the pricing through just, you know, plain old volumetric pricing. You know, the more folks we can get, the more of a bulk purchase discount we're going to be able to achieve. And you're going to hear more about all of that in just a second. Okay. So I talked about this a little bit already, but Solarize Kansas City is in essence, it's a group purchasing program. I like to think of it as a kind of Angie's List and a Groupon kind of mashed together for clean energy. So we issued the RFP, we settled on Sun Solar, and you're going to see why in a second. But in doing so, we have already vetted the contractor. We already know what materials we need in terms of the solar panels, the batteries, the inverters. Mark, I'm going to ask you if you could mute your microphone, please. That would be terrific. And then, I'll go ahead and do that for Mark here. But then, you know, that's the vetting part. But then again, through that power of group purchasing, we're going to be able to get great discounts on all of the materials available for this campaign. It is open to residential, commercial, and nonprofit entities. You know, we've gone through that competitive bid process, so you don't have to. Lastly is that this is a limited time campaign, and that's not really a gimmicky thing. We do a lot of education and outreach events, and you know, you can only offer group purchase kind of a discount for a limited period of time. So we're going to go through some of those important dates later on, but suffice it to say, if you have signed up for the campaign already, then you've already qualified for the group discount pricing, and you'll already get a free evaluation, which Tyrone will walk you through here in just a second. It is a community-based campaign. That, you know, there's other kinds of group purchasing campaigns out there, but being a community-based campaign, you know that you've got, you're not going it alone, okay? You've got the support of the community with you throughout the entire process. So if there's a problem with permitting or interconnection with the utility, or, you know, even with, you know, you haven't heard from Sun Solar or something. I don't think that's going to happen, but if that does happen, then you know you're not going it alone. You've got a bunch of folks who are industry experts and community leaders that are here to help you through that process. Having a group of mission aligned organizations really goes a long way towards having a voice. And that voice means a lot when we do, or if we do run into any issues. So long after this campaign has come and gone, we hope that these organizations will stay together and form a coalition that will continue to advocate for clean energy policies moving forward. Mentioned all the education outreach events. We have at least 1 or 2 events every month. So if any of your friends or family missed this one, we'll have this recording for you, but then also you'll have other opportunities later on. And you know, another part of this campaign that we haven't really launched yet, but it's worth mentioning here, is that we're trying to make solar available for all. So one of the aspects of this program is equity and an ability to reach out to low and moderate income families that might not otherwise be able to afford solar. One of the things about solar right now is that we're at this inflection point where solar is now cheaper, just because of it's become cheaper over the years, but also through this program where it's now at what we call grid parity with your utility. So that means that you can now generate electricity either cheaper or at par with your utility at home using your own property and you've never been able to do that for. It's otherwise known as the democratization of energy. So the idea here is to make sure that everybody is able to reap the benefits of clean energy, not just a few. So through this low and moderate income component, which we're calling Share the Sun, and you're going to hear more about this as this campaign goes on throughout the summer and into the fall. We're helping buy down the cost of solar for income qualified folks, and what that's going to do is reduce their energy burden. And if we can reduce their energy burden, then less of their income is going to go towards having to pay their utility bill, and then they can use that money for other things, school supplies, or for childcare, or you know, other things that are really important. So this is very much intertwined and a part of this campaign. It's just that we've been working kind of behind the scenes for a while now, and you're going to see us launch that aspect of the campaign very soon. All right, so this might be my favorite slide. So why solar? There's a lot of reasons why to go solar, but these are my favorite, and it starts with turning that never-ending expense of paying an electricity bill into an investment in which you're going to get a return. The other thing about solar is that it's very low maintenance. You can monitor everything on your phone or on your computer. You can generate reports. There's no moving parts. It's all passive systems. And the source of the energy, the sun that falls on your property every day, is free. So what that means is once you have installed solar on your home, there's very little operating and maintenance required after that. And it works as a great hedge against raising utility rates. So every time the rates go up through the utility, your solar system becomes that much more valuable. Another great thing that a lot of people don't know, but there's probably over a dozen reports now that have proven this out, is that solar adds value to homes and businesses. I think the latest one was in a Zillow report. Zillow does keep track of these things. If you look on Zillow, they actually have a sun tracker that will tell you how much solar the house that you're looking at is available at that property. And what has been proven out time and time again is that homes with solar sell faster, and they sell at a premium than homes without solar, comparable homes without solar. So I think the latest statistic is around 4 to 5%, depending on the area you're in, is the type of premium you can expect. And that makes sense, right? Because if you have solar, you're reducing the operating cost for that property. So it inherently becomes more valuable. In addition, there are tax incentives available. If you can get your install in this year, in 2022, then you're eligible for a 26% federal tax credit. That's a tax credit. That is not a deduction. That is a dollar for dollar credit and can help you reduce any tax liability you might have. The important thing to understand there is that that tax credit does go down next year unless there's some action at the federal level. The tax credit is scheduled to sunset 22, it goes down to 22% in 2023, and then 10% in 2024, and then it drops off to nothing for residential and 10% for commercial. And by the way, solar is clean and renewable energy. So we used to, talk a lot about the clean and renewable aspect of solar, but now, since the cost has come down so far, and we are able to really compete with what you would otherwise pay the utility, the economic discussion comes first, and the clean energy benefits come later. I know, at least for me, the clean energy benefits are really important, and they might be for you too, but it's nice to save a little money along the way. So here are the things I want to leave you with is that we've already vetted the contractors. You're going to find out what the materials are, the solar panels, the inverters, the racking equipment that goes on the roof. If you're interested in battery storage technology, Tyrone's going to tell you all about that. We already know what the pricing is going to be, which I'm going to show you in a second. And because it's a community-based program, you can be sure that you're going to get a trusted, you're going to get the straight talk about solar. You're going to get a trusted proposal. You're going to get a straight up contract, and there's not going to be any, of the craziness that you might see out there. Rest in peace your inbox, or at least your social media feed. If you have ever searched for solar in a search engine, then you probably know that you're getting inundated with a lot of offers these days. And a lot of these folks are out there telling you things that just aren't true. The utility will pay you to go solar for free, or all these other outlandish claims, and they're just not true. That's, you're not going to get any of that with Solarize Kansas City either. And don't forget community support all the way through. So here's just a quick review. We talked about Solarize and why solar. Here's why solar now. And those reasons are that tax credit that I mentioned. It's going to be phasing out. So if you do have a tax liability, you probably want to do that sooner than later. Electricity rates tend to go up around 2.5 to 3% annually. And you heard me talk about how, you heard me talk about how solar can help hedge against raising utility rates. And then, the net energy metering that is available currently through Evergy, those policies can sometimes change. And what we find currently, we have a really good net energy metering policy with the utility. That means that if you are generating more electricity than what you're actually using, you're still connected to the utility. So you can sell that energy back to the utility at the retail rate. And then, later on at night, when the sun goes down, you're consuming that energy back. So the utility really helps, kind of act as your battery backup system in a way. It won't be there if there's a blackout naturally, but it will help you make your solar system more affordable, where you can sell that electricity at the good retail rate. And one question we always get, I just want to go ahead and make sure you guys understand, this campaign is not about going off grid. It's not anti-utility. It's about working with the utility company to get folks to where they need to be. Energy is integral to all of our lives every day. If we don't have access to electricity, then a lot of our daily functions aren't going to happen. So we use energy all the time. We have a right to generate our own electricity on our own property and create and save money and increase our property values. We have a right to do that, but we're always connected to the utility. So at night, or if it's a rainy day, then you'll always have the utility there as a backup. And then through this program, if we reach our goal, which I think we will, with the amount of energy that we've seen from Kansas City and the number of folks that have already signed up, I really think we're going to get to our lowest tier goal, which means a 25% savings for the same system that you would otherwise get outside of this program. And then, for me, solar is the right thing to do. If I have the ability to do it, and I own my own home and I can either finance it or afford to pay for it, then and I'm going to stay in the home for a period of time, then for me, it was the right thing to do to generate my own clean energy and reduce my carbon emissions that way. Pardon me. So here is the tiered pricing schedule. So what this means in a nutshell, if you look at the bottom here, you see the different aggregate kilowatts. So the best way I know how to explain this is if we had 10 people that all signed up for the program and all got a 5 kilowatt system, then you got 10 people times 5 kilowatts equals 50 kilowatts. And those 10 people are going to pay $2.70 a watt. Now, that 11th person comes along and they also want a 5 kilowatt system. So then we go from 50 to 55 kilowatts, and we have now spilled in to tier 2. This is where we're reaping the benefits of the bulk purchasing. So that 11th person is going to pay $2.68 and so forth and so on. And the way this program works is no matter at what time you come into the program, whether you pay $2.70 or you come in late and you pay $2.55, everybody pays the same price. So anybody, any of our early adopters are going to get a rebate check for the difference of what they paid and the tier pricing that we end up at. So we're all working together. We're all rowing the boat the same way. And we all have an incentive to try to get as many people involved so we can get the price down for everybody. Here's an example. I know this is kind of a mind-boggling screen, but I'll walk you through it. Right now, we're in tier 2. We're at about 86 kilowatts. So we're on the upper end of tier 2, and looks like we're about to spill into tier 3. I'll let Tyrone speak to that for a minute, but this is the same for a 5 kilowatt sample at $2.68 per watt. The base price for that would be $13.04. And then after you apply the federal tax credit of 26%, your base amount goes down to $99.16. And then if we hit that final tier, which I really believe we will, then the rebate check coming to you is around $650, which would bring down your cost even further to $92.66. So that's how the program works. If we don't end up at tier 2, then that rebate check will look a little bit different. But that's a kind of an example of how the pricing works and how the tax incentive applies and the rebate and so forth and so on. Here's the commercial pricing. I won't go through this too much, spend a lot of time on it, but the commercial pricing is based on system size, not aggregate. those decisions are made differently. And we have found over a long period of time that if it's a commercial structure, or if it's a nonprofit, then they need to have certainty on the decisions that are being made. So they can't, decide, okay, I'll sign up now, but I'm only going to execute if we get to tier 8. It doesn't work like that with commercial. So these are flat pricing based on the system size, as indicated down here below where it says the tier. Here's the important dates. We actually launched this campaign on June 6th. We had a great launch event. Want to thank everybody for making that event a success. We have an enrollment period from the time we launched through the end of October. And so that's for folks who sign up at solarizeKansasCity.com. They'll automatically qualify for the discount pricing and get a free evaluation. So if you're interested in participating, you want to sign up at solarizeKansasCity.com by October 31st. After that, we do give extra time to get your contracts in, because if it turns out we get a lot of people signing up at the very end, depending on, especially if we're at that lowest tier pricing, and they need time. They need time to, think about financing, or maybe it's a homeowners association or a historic district, things that they have to work through. So there's extra time for the contracts for residential, and then for commercial nonprofit, they actually get even more time because those decisions are made in a boardroom. They're not made at the kitchen table, so they generally take a little bit longer. Okay, and that's it. So that's my presentation on what Solarize Kansas City is all about and how the pricing works. Now I'm going to turn it over to Tyrone, and he is going to take you through some of the more kind of detailed aspects of what Sun Solar is able to offer.
Excellent. Don, are you able to switch over to the slide view that I had sent you, the 2 slides?
I don't think I got that, Tyrone. I did scale down your presentation, so if it's okay with you, I'm just going to advance the slide and then hopefully you can pick it up. Is that okay?
Perfect. Will do.
All right.
So just to introduce myself, everyone, my name is Tyrone Galgano. I am an energy consultant at Sun Solar. I'm also managing this campaign for our company. You may have seen my name and email come to you when I sent out the welcome packet link. And many of you have contacted me with assistance in getting that completed, and contact me with some of your other questions as well. So I'd be happy to answer any of those questions via text, email, or phone call. My line is always open to make sure you get the information at hand. We also have 22 energy consultants at Sun Solar that have been assigned to this campaign. We have over 400 that have, or almost 400 that have signed up for consultation. So bear with us as we get through everyone, but we will be giving everyone the opportunity for free consultation and to be able to sign up for this group purchase pricing. Just a little information about our company on the next slide, Don. And our consultants will be going through this a little bit more thoroughly. I'm going to condense this information down and just bring out a couple highlighted points. Our company is 10 years old. We're celebrating our 10th year anniversary this year. We are A+ Better Business Bureau rated. We have a vast number of experience in both residential and commercial field. We've completed over 7,000 projects. So we have a lot of experience in this industry, and we provide everything from A to B. We do not outsource or subcontract here in the state of Missouri or Kansas. Some of our projects outside of the Midwest, we will use subcontractors, but here we are using our own teams. We have 13 different installation teams that are installing between $4 and $5 million of solar projects every single month. So this is very important that you're going to be working with a contractor that starts with you and ends with you, and also maintains a relationship with you for the full length of our workmanship warranty, which is leading the industry at 25 years. We stand behind our projects for a very long period of time, and this is a relationship we want to keep with you. And with that said, is we also have our own live customer service representation. This is something that sets us apart from a lot of our competitors. And that if you have a problem down the line, let's say in year 18, and you call Sun Solar up, you are not being outsourced overseas to someone that might not be able to speak your language and hard to understand. We are going to pick up that phone call and handle you in-house locally here. We have 5 different locations in the state of Missouri: Houston, Columbia, right outside of Kansas City. We have an office brand new in Grandview, We have a St. Louis location, and our headquarters is in Springfield. We're also looking to expand very soon into Arkansas as well. We can go to the next slide. So we see our growth is fueled by helping people. A lot of our clients will approach us for one of three reasons: to save money, to protect the environment, and to gain independence from the grid. So a lot of you may initially thought about saving money, but obviously using renewable energy does help the environment, and you will be able to gain independence from the grid. And a lot of people see that as a potential concern, especially with a lot of things they may be seeing on the news, what happened to Texas last year. We definitely see this as a concern from many of our clients, and solar will be able to help you that. We can go to the next. Now, our company provides two different solutions. We don't want to just produce solar for you and make that power. We also want to come into your home and make it more energy efficient. So our company actually purchased another company that all they did was energy efficiency home upgrades, and we integrated that into our paradigm to be able to supply this to our homeowners as well. So that is an option that we're going to be discussing as our consultants meet with you about energy efficiency for your home and being able to come and do that for your home. Currently, normally we charge $1.20 per square foot when that's combined with solar. Through the Solarize City campaign, you're also getting that adder as a discount too. That drops down to $1 per square foot for your home as well. You can go to the next slide. One of the things with our energy efficiency is our goal is to come into your home and reduce the actual reduction of airflow loss by 10%. Now, our goal for our team is a higher percentage of that once they actually come into your home, but we will reduce by minimum 10% reduction of airflow loss. And by doing so, we will make your home more energy efficient. The next slide is going to go over a few of those items that will actually come into your home and do. See, every home is a little bit different. So when we come into your home, we're going to establish what we call a baseline test. We do this through what they call blower door tests. This is going to show us where that air is entering and leaving your home. After that, we're then going to start doing these upgrades on your home, do another blower door test at the end to make sure we reduce that airflow loss in your home. Some of those upgrades we see for a lot of our homes are going into your attic space and blowing in fiberglass insulation. We're going to bring this up to an R50 value, and that's about 50 inches of insulation in your home. We're going to swap out all your bulbs to LED lighting, wrap your hot water tank, look around your doors and windows, see if there's any draft potential that need to be sealed up with caulking or add new door strips. We'll look into your attic access ceiling. One thing that helped out with my home was basically sealing up all those light bulbs that went into my ceiling. I was losing a lot of airflow loss through those. And we'll also gift you a smart thermostat if your home can take one. If you already have one or your home can't take one, still take it. It is included in the actual package. We can go to the next slide. One of the most important things about our company is what we provide in our equipment. We only use the best, and over our 10 years in business, we've learned that if you go with subpar equipment, you're going to have a lot of problems down the line, and you're also going to be dealing with equipment that degrades at a faster rate and produces less energy for you over time. So by us using higher quality equipment, what we want is this equipment not only to last for a long period of time, but also be operating at a very high efficient rate. With that said, our workmanship warranty is 25 years. The product warranty for the solar modules themselves are 25 years. And because they are tier 1, they also offer a power output warranty. And what that means is that, right when your system is installed, year number 1, obviously being outdoors is going to be working great. But by year 25, how good is that system still going to be producing for you? With the panels that we use, because they're tier 1, at the end of 25 years, at year 25, these panels are guaranteed to be above 80% efficiency. So that's really good to know that you install something in 25 years after being outdoors, it just looked like a rust bucket out there. It's going to be fully operational and still be working at a very high efficient rate at that period of time. So even though the warranty themselves is 25 years, your system is still prolonged to be working well past that point in time. The inverters that we use come with a 12-year warranty, but we can extend that up to 25 years to match all the workmanship and the power output warranty and product warranty for our solar modules. And then the Tesla power walls that we offer for battery storage, those come with an industry 10-year warranty for those as well. And next slide.
I just want to chime in here real quick to say the 25-year workmanship warranty that Sun Solar offers is almost unprecedented in the industry. We've been doing this a while, and you'll see 5-year, maybe 10-year, which I think is the California standard. But to have a 25-year workmanship warranty is one of the things, that really the coalition that vetted all the contractors and things. That's one of the reasons why we decided to go with Sun Solar, because they're going to, back up what it is that they're putting on your home.
And being in this industry as long as I've been, you see a lot of companies come and go, and we constantly get called into our customer service center from homeowners that went solar not through us, but they contact us because their current contractor is no longer in business. So what we see is finding a contractor that you can not only trust is going to produce a great product for you and contract a great product for your home, but also making sure that they have the longevity to stay around for the full workmanship warranty. You know, whether they're providing a 5, 10, or 25-year, you definitely want to know that that trust, that contractor is going to be there. And our company has a few ways where even if we weren't a successful contractor building projects like we are, you know, we're currently #1 rated in the state on the residential side, but our company also has their own in-house lease program. So even if we weren't a successful contractor, which we are, we have an in-house lease program that we provide to both our commercial and residential clients. And a lot of clients opt for these in-house leases, terms of up to 25 years, where our company will still have that longevity coming in by monthly payments from those leases. So I always share that with our customers and letting them know that, you know, a workmanship warranty is great, but unless that company is going to be around for that full period of time, you know, that's just writing on the paper. But and work with this company, especially when I decided to vet a number of companies in the area and decide to partner with Sun Solar for my projects here on the Midwest, I felt that Sun Solar definitely had the longevity in this market to be around. Now, getting into our upfront costs, you know, we have a few different options available through Sun Solar, both money down option and no money down option through our loan and lease options. Obviously, if you're paying in cash, that will get you your quickest return on investment if you have the cash on hand. It's 10% upfront. We collect 45% prior to installation and the other 45% after completion. So that is stretched over that product period. You don't have to pay it all upfront. It's just 10% to get your product up and running. Now, the loan and lease options, I say, are most popular. Reason is a lot of our homeowners and clients want to take the utility bill that they're already paying right now and basically transfer that over into their monthly payment for their system. And then that way they're taking something that they would be giving away to the utility and getting nothing for, and start actually building equity for it and owning their system over time. You know, it's the same premise that renting and owning your home right now. You may have purchased your home because you didn't want to continue renting your home and making the landlord wealthy over a period of time. You wanted to actually build equity. You might be paying a little bit more in a mortgage payment, but at least with that mortgage payment, you're building equity over time. And that's the same premise that we see with owning and renting your power. You know, you can continue to rent your power and not have anything over time, all that money wasted, or you can start putting that monthly payment that you give away to the utility company into your solar payment. One thing that's nice about our loan lease providers is that they have fixed interest rates, no payment penalties. So you can choose and opt for a 25-year term, which gets you the lowest payment. But if you pay the system off in 15 years, they're not going to charge you anything additional. And essentially, we've got many different options that can be transferred as well. So if you do, let's say, sell your home in 10, 15 years, the same way that that homeowner is going to get pre-approved to buy your home, they're also going to get pre-approved to essentially take over that payment on your home at that point in time. We can go next slide. I'll go ahead and skip the customer testimonials just because of time. And just keep in mind, everyone that's seeing this presentation, your energy consultant will go over this quite thoroughly. I'm kind of speeding through some of the more important items, but this will go over a little bit thoroughly so you can ask questions on each one as well. Now, our general timeline for projects around that 60 to 90-day average. Sometimes that could be stretched a little bit more depending on the size of your project. Mainly, we're working through a lot with the net metering and the permitting through the utility company. If your system size is under 10 kilowatts, they have up to 30 days to approve your project. If your system size is over 10 kilowatts in size, they have up to 90 days to approve your project. So that can skew that timeline from 16 to 9 days a little bit more depending on that. But we are working with both the utility companies in and around Kansas City and the permitting areas for this program to hopefully expedite some of these items to get these systems up and running a lot quicker. So currently when the consultant meets with you, they're going to go through the consultation and system layout. They're going to go over the agreement and financing terms. Once that project gets initiated and contracted by you, we'll then send out a site surveyor to your property. They gather all the details that will then be sent back to our engineering team to finalize your actual plan set. And we essentially use that plan set and final feasibility study to get approval on the system layout by you. And then we submit that to both the permitting and net metering, get approval from both of those sides. And then once we've got final approval from net metering, which is your utility company and the local permitting agency, we're then ready for installation. And what's nice is I know a lot of you will see a 60 to 90 days and thinks there's going to be a large amount of construction at your home for a long period of time. Because our teams are so experienced doing these projects, your roof installation is usually all on a 1 to 3 day span line. And a lot of these projects are being completed in 1 day in terms of roof installation. So we're in and out very quickly, efficiently in getting your system set and ready. Once your system is installed, we'll then send a final package back to the utility company for their final approval. They come out to your property, inspect the system, and then that's when they're going to switch that meter that you have currently at your property to a bi-directional meter. And what that means is anytime you're sending power to the utility company, your meter now spins backwards, and that's a great sight to see because it's never happened before. And then once you're on and live from the utility company, they approve you, turn your system on, you are saving money at that point. We can skip to the end. And these are just a few photos of some of our projects. In that top left corner, the USA spelled out in solar panels, that's actually our headquarters here in Springfield. We own that building. We actually just recently purchased the building across the street. So we are actively expanding. 6 months ago, we were at 150 employees, and now we're over 200. So we're in a great industry right now, working for a great company, and we definitely see our company continuing to expand. As you can see, there's a number of commercial projects on here and utility grade projects as well. We do a little bit of everything. So if you're interested on the residential side and you feel that your business may be interested as well, you can get them to sign up for this program as well. And we'd love to be able to help them too. Don, I think you're on mute.
Of course, I'm always on mute, it seems like. Thank you, Tyrone. That was terrific. And the last thing I want to share with you guys, let me see, I think I have to stop sharing and then share again, is just the website, solarize You see here, we have almost 400 folks signed up. And here's, on this right-hand side, we have a little dashboard that shows where we are with the tiered pricing. I'm an environmentalist at heart, and I think a lot of us are, so we keep track of CO2 avoided, which is really a great feeling. And then commercial and battery storage. Those commercial decisions just take a little bit longer. So you're going to start to see the stuff on the commercial side move hopefully fairly soon. But there's already been a little bit of a battery storage pickup as well. If you are interested in a free evaluation and qualifying for that discount pricing, you can hit this get your free evaluation button and fill out this form. I'm not going to go through all of that now, but that's how you sign up. We have our important dates, calendar of events here, a lot of other testimonials and things about Sun Solar. But then, we also have the tiered pricing available here through the website to check out. But one of the things I'm proud of is, these spec sheets. So if you really want to geek out on what kind of modules, racking, inverters, battery technology, things like that, and other things that are offered through Sun Solar, you can check that stuff out through the website here. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing and we can get into some questions.
So I'll just go over some of the questions that have already been posted. As far as a list of planned events available, I'll let Dawn send that out for neighborhood marketing. Any events that might be available for Solarize Kansas City. Is the 25% savings you project a savings on the purchase or on the realized solar energy, or a combination over time? So with this group purchase program, Dawn, you want to answer that one?
I'm sorry, Tyrone. I just want to say, not to skip over that first thing, which is really important to this campaign. It is a community-based campaign. So in addition to events that we put on, we also will do events for you, or we can come visit. I see Adam is here. He was at the farmer's market just this past weekend. And food truck events or any other kind of events that there's a tabling opportunity. We want to be there. So if there, I'm going to go ahead and put my email address in the chat box, and if there's any opportunity to come and present in front of your homeowners association, your civic organization, or just participate in any community events, we would love to try to be there. So that's all part of the campaign. So all right, Tyrone, go ahead.
Thank you, Don. So just going into the savings. So essentially with this group purchase program, instead of paying our normal MSRP, which is $3.38 for your solar, basically in tier one drops that price down 68 cents. So essentially by dropping that price down, you're initially in tier one. Anyone that had recently signed up and contracted their project will receive that tier one price. It's a savings of 68 cents. And that's your 20% discount right there. Now, as this program moves forward to each tier, we've moved into tier two. So we're currently at $2.68 a watt. That's essentially 70-cent difference from our normal MSRP from $3.38. As we move through each tier, essentially everyone that signs up in that tier will pay that tier price. But once we reach tier 8, which would be $2.55 a watt, that's a difference of another 5% savings or 15 cents from tier 1 to tier 8. So you get a 20% savings for anyone that signs up in tier 1. And as that moves forward, you're going to reach 25% total savings once we end up in tier 8. So anyone that has signed up and started this program already to get their project underway, if they signed up in tier 1, they signed up at the higher tier price, but they're still getting a 20% discount. But once we end up in tier 8, at the end of this program, you can contract until December 31st. Starting Q1 of next year, we'll then start sending out those rebates for the difference of what tier you signed up on versus the difference of the tier you ended up on. So if we signed up in tier 1, end up in tier 8, you're going to get another 15 cents per watt sent to you out in a rebate. And that way everyone gets the same price once the program reaches the final end.
Yeah, and Jerry, let me just add that we're talking about the savings on the cost of solar, not the savings you're going to realize over the next 25 to 30, 35 years. A rule of thumb, and it's all on a case-by-case basis. But if there's ever a general rule of thumb on this stuff, what I have found is that for every dollar you invest on solar, you're going to get a $3 return over the warranted lifespan of that equipment. So we're just talking about savings on the cost. There's still a ton of savings to come on the electricity bill, not to get those mixed up.
And one thing that a couple of my clients have noted in going over this presentation with them, and obviously our consultants are normal selling the MSRP price, and we have got over 7,000 projects we've completed. So a lot of customers are perfectly comfortable, and it makes economic sense paying that normal retail price. When we're able to add in this Solarize Kansas City discount, it's very pleasing on our end to be able to provide that to a customer. And some of the customers are kind of blown away that they're not only going to potentially get a 26% tax credit, that is 22% next year, but they're also potentially now getting another 25% savings. So in the difference of going through a normal contract or our normal pricing, you now have upwards of 50% that you're getting in a discounted price and the federal tax credit just right off the bat. So this is a great way that if you've been considering solar, this is a great opportunity to take advantage of while it's still available.
So Tyrone, Jerry also asked, are there any utility rebates available through the energy efficiency upgrades?
So essentially, as far as rebates, Evergy does have a rebate if you are a Missouri Metro customer. They still have rebate funds currently. It is obviously not guaranteed. Once they reach $8 million, and I believe they're around close to $7 million that's already been spent, they will give you a rebate if you're allocated at that point in time once you're approved. That's based on 25 cents a watt, depending on your system size. Now, if you are a Missouri West customer, essentially their rebate funds have already maxed out. They've utilized the $8 million in funds. So you wouldn't get a rebate through Evergy if you're under their brand. And on the Kansas side, unfortunately, Evergy is not providing a rebate. So essentially this would just be for the Missouri Metro customers. There's still rebate funds available. There's other utility companies in the state of Missouri that still have rebate funds available. And if you are in one of them, I definitely make sure to move you quickly on your project, because as soon as those funds run out, they're gone for good and that incentive is no longer available. So it's definitely important to kind of take advantage of these federal incentives. The state incentives is one thing I noticed on there. I also put that on there for, I believe it was Jerry asked that question too. All solar homeowners in both Missouri and Kansas are exempt from property taxes. So when you install these systems and you upgrade your property, while this won't save you any money up front, it definitely saves you thousands of dollars over a long period of time. Now, in terms of rebates for energy efficiency, so each utility company, you can research your own utility company. Sometimes they give rebates based on the utility company you're with. If you're doing energy efficiency upgrades to your home, they will give you a rebate up to, let's say, $500, depending on the cost of your system. So if you are under a utility company that has a rebate for energy efficiency upgrades, let us know and we can provide you an invoice, which will stipulate that you can get that full rebate with that company. Let's see who owns the system and who is responsible for regular maintenance. So depending on if you do a loan, if you're doing a loan, you're obviously taking on a loan that you own the system. You would be responsible for that maintenance over time. Essentially, what's nice about the Midwest is Mother Nature will do most of what you need for you in cleaning those panels on a regular basis. It's not like you're going to be needing to get up on that roof and scrub. The rain essentially will do everything you need to clean off those panels. As far as our lease, our in-house lease essentially would be Sun Solar and the bank owning your system. So we actually make sure that that system's working for that full 25-year period because we're the ones that own it as well. In terms of cleaning, that's usually something that would be left up to the customer if they want to have a system like that, power wash on a regular basis. But like I said, most of our clients just utilize Mother Nature to kind of do what it needs to clean off those panels. Let's see, next question. What are the loan interest rates? So depending on your qualification, which is usually based on credit score, we've got a number of national providers that are available. We work with about 5, and essentially they have rates anywhere from 0.49% to 1.49%. So we've got very low APR rates available for these solar loans. Does the on-site review of the property include an engineering analysis of the capability of the roof to hold the system in all kinds of weather? Many of the homes may be 100 years old and have smaller roofs. Great question. So a lot of the permitting areas around metro area require what they call a feasibility study based on the structural integrity of the roof. So that is something that we take in consideration. A lot of permitting agencies take in consideration as well. So if you're within one of those communities, we are doing what they call a DOTEC analysis, just to make sure, obviously safety being our number one concern, that we install a system on a home or a property that can actually take the weight of those solar panels. Let's see. I think that was all the questions that were listed in the chat. Were there any other questions from attendees currently?
Yeah, let's open it up. If you have a question, I'm sure somebody else has the same question. So fire away. All right. Well, Tyrone, I guess we answered everybody's questions. Maybe give
You guys will all have an opportunity once you meet with your consultant to spend a lot more time. Just myself and most of our consultants will normally set an hour virtual time slot. For myself, I usually space them around 2 hours just to have enough time to get through all your questions. Obviously, our first and foremost, we want to educate the customer so they can make an educated decision on what's best for their family.
Craig, did you have a question?
No, I was just going to have him explain the battery system, but we could do that on a one-on-one basis.
Well,
Yeah, just
it's really a great question.
Yeah. Just a quick synopsis on the battery. So essentially with solar, the common misconception is that you do solar for your property and you're going to have power when the power goes out. And that would be false. Essentially, if the power goes out, your power will go out as well, even if you have solar. And what you can integrate on your property is some of the rural customers will obviously potentially choose a generator on their property. And I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with that process. But the newer technology that's on the market essentially is residential battery backup storage. So we use a Tesla Powerwall. Essentially gives you a set amount of power storage that in the event of a power outage, now your solar will turn off, but your battery will then kick on and control some of your emergency services for a prolonged period of time, depending on what you're needing to be backed up. But that's going to be depending on how many batteries you install for your system, depending on how long that will be. So we do have that option available that if you're concerned with power outages and you want to be able to have power in the event of a power outage, you can do so. One thing that's also nice with battery storage is that, let's say your utility company ever switches to what they call a time of use, essentially when they're charging more during specific times of the day, the batteries now become a lot more economical, where you can essentially store that energy during low peak periods of the day where you're being charged less, such as like overnight, and essentially then power those batteries on during those specific times of the day where they're charging you more for your electric rates. So there's a few different ways that you can utilize those batteries, from backup storage to saving during peak pricing. And your energy consultant will go over that and a few other ways with you as well.
I think Sun Solar is one of the few that actually have the Tesla Powerwall available at this time. So get it.
At this time, I think we have the low 30s available. And those Tesla products are very hard to come by. They are in very high demand. So if you were considering battery storage, definitely make sure your consultant knows and we can allocate those to your project.
Jerry has another good question, Tyrone. Does the analysis of the roof include more than just the weight load of the system itself? What about dynamic conditions like snow and wind?
So all that will be calculated into that DOTEC. And a lot of times the DOTEC will also do any recommendations where it says, this roof as it stands currently may not be able to hold solar, but if you do X, Y, and Z, then it could be potentially structural integrity to be able to hold that solar And on top of that, control the snow load, wind, and et cetera.
Do you, I don't mean to put you on the spot, Tyrone, but what is the wind load for the racking system you guys are using?
I don't have that offhand, but if you do go to the Solarize Kansas City website, if you scroll down to the residential section, we've got data sheets for every single component that's going to be made up for your system for both residential and commercial. So if you kind of wanted to dive down into the weeds and look at some of those data renderings, you can go into those products.
Robin asks, what is the time on the consultation once they sign up? What can they expect after that?
So essentially you will get an email from both Solarize and ourselves. This is going to be our welcome packet. This is essentially something that you will complete through SunSolar's DocuSign. This is information that can help speed your process and completing your project. But most of you will be contacted by your energy consultant within 7 to 10 days after signing up from the program. Obviously, to start, right when we announced this program, we had 350 plus rate from the beginning, and it's going to take us a little bit just to get through that initial trench. But as this program moves forward, that timeline should speed up. If for any reason you aren't contacted within that 7 day period to at least get the welcome packet started or whatnot by email, text, we are going to continue to reach out to you to get a hold of you. And a lot of times we're doing that by leaving you a voicemail, sending you a text, sending you an email. We'll do everything possible to at least contact you and get you on the phone. That way we can set up an appointment that's going to be best for your schedule for that virtual consultation.
Tyrone, if you could put your email address in the chat box for everyone. I think that was the last thing we have here. Holly. All right. Okay. Holly says, if Evergy power goes down for 4 hours, for example, my home with solar would be without energy unless I have a Tesla battery backup.
That's correct. So essentially, like everyone else, even if you had solar, your power would go off as well. Reason for that is why they're working on those lines. They don't want any power being sent back onto those lines, which would be a safety hazard for anyone working that. So you essentially have to put an electrical component in between your system and essentially the utility grid, and that would be a battery source. So once the power goes out, you're going to store that energy on that battery, and that gives you backup power to control some of your emergency services like your lights, your fridge, your Wi-Fi, TV, things that are emergency needed. Obviously, if you have a jacuzzi, you're not going to be running that during a power outage, or you might need quite a bit more battery units. And we have some of those clients that will do up to 10 battery units because they're preppers and they want to be ready. But most of our actual consultants will do a minimum of 2 Tesla Powerwalls. But depending on what you need backed up, your energy consultant can kind of go over those options with you on what would be best fit for your project based on your needs. You're welcome, Holly.
I think we're all set. We're at the end of the hour. Thank you so much for everybody for coming. And please solarizeKansasCity.com. That's where you go to sign up. Tyrone, did you get your email in there? If you could do that real quick.
My email is in there.
Oh, okay, good. And that is it. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. And we'll see you at evaluation. Bye-bye.